1986 brought a new animated series into viewers' living rooms, a show that would, over the years, grow into a true generational phenomenon. Dragon Ball tells the story of Goku, a boy with a monkey-like tail who stumbles into an adventure of Dragon Balls, wish-granting dragons, and battles that shape destinies. What sets Goku apart is not just his extraordinary physical strength, but his mastery of martial arts, a talent and discipline that let him overcome the most terrifying opponents, many of whom pursue the same crystal dragon or hold their own deadly ambitions. From the start, events push Goku toward something bigger than himself, the role of Earth's protector. He faces enemies without flinching and displays a courage that becomes almost a moral constant, and then a revelation. Goku discovers his origins. He is a Saiyan, a member of a warrior race bred to fight, to conquer, to dominate. The revelation explains his ferocious drive and his innate combat genius. Yet living among humans changed him. He becomes attached to Earth, to its people, and chooses to defend his adopted home rather than the world that birthed him. When Goku learns the truth about his lineage and kills his brother in battle, a new threat arrives. Prince Vegeta, the Saiyan heir, seeks out the murderer of his kin. In Vegeta, the series introduces one of its most unforgettable figures, a rival and mirror to Goku, a character whose popularity among fans would rival, if not eclipse, that of the hero himself. Vegeta bursts onto the scene as menace and royalty combined, ruthless, proud, and uncompromising. He planned to conquer Earth and slaughter its inhabitants. But exposure to humans and their world changes him in unexpected ways. Vegeta becomes, over time, a reluctant ally, and then an uneasy part of the community he once sought to annihilate. He grows more complicated than the initial archetype of villainy. He is haunted by inner conflict, driven by a perpetual need to prove his worth, and guided by a code of honor rooted in lineage and duty. To understand Vegeta philosophically is to recognize two central forces that shape him: an obsessive pursuit of power and an aristocratic sense of duty. Both streaks push and pull him, carving out the tragic and compelling figure fans love. If there is one word that defines Vegeta, it is power. Not power as a static title or simple strength, but as an obsession to become the strongest. Vegeta measures his life against opponents stronger than himself. The existence of someone mightier than him is intolerable. It forces him to fight, even when defeat is likely. He would rather die at the hands of a foe than be rescued by a friend. This is Vegeta as Nietzsche's will to power, embodied. Nietzsche described a driving force in life that compels beings to overcome themselves, to strive beyond the human into the figure of the overman. That force animates nature and human acts alike, a relentless affirmation of strength and growth. Vegeta respects only strength. Those he admires are always those he judges stronger than himself. He scorns kindness and devotion as masks of weakness. Nietzsche argued that conventional morality is often a creation of the weak to restrain the strong. For Vegeta, the only moral value is the morality of power. Important clarification: the will to power does not necessarily equate to cruelty. Early Vegeta delights in inflicting pain and terror, a sadistic streak that would align him more with figures like the Marquis de Sade than with Nietzsche's philosophic type. Still, that sadism is temporary. As the saga progresses, Vegeta's hunger for power narrows into a single, focused aim: to surpass Goku. Goku and Vegeta share, in different forms, a trait Nietzsche famously expressed. That which does not kill us makes us stronger. For Scions, this idea is literal. Their biology rewards near-death experiences with dramatic increases in strength. It's likely Akira Toriyama had this principle in mind when he created Scion physiology, and the story repeatedly underscores the necessity of breaking one's limits to become greater, a narrative echo of Nietzschean striving. Yet reducing Vegeta to mere raw ambition would miss half the portrait. He is also defined by duty. Vegeta is the son of King Vegeta, named for the planet that produced his people. As prince, he carries a moral obligation to embody his bloodline's prestige. His worldview is aristocratic. Lineage, honor, and the duty to represent a warrior heritage are central to who he is. When he is humiliated in battle, he screams his title, "I am the Prince of the Scions," as if to force himself into the posture his birth demands. Vegeta's moral code is not Kantian in the conventional sense. He commits horrendous acts and spurns simple goodness. But when it comes to combat, he behaves like a Kantian whose imperative is duty, absolute and uncompromising. Kant's categorical imperative prescribes actions that must be followed irrespective of consequences. For Vegeta, the duty to fight, to uphold the honor of his station, becomes precisely that imperative. It is a moral gravity that commands him even when fear, exhaustion, or despair threaten to break him. Sigmund Freud's concept of the superego also illuminates Vegeta. The superego is the part of the psyche that enforces moral rules internalized through upbringing. Vegeta grew up steeped in the idea that weakness is shameful and that a true Scion must be the best. His superego, formed by royal expectation and martial culture, insists on honor, excellence, and the repression of weakness. Vegeta's will to power is not a chaotic lust, but an ambition bounded by an ideal, an aristocratic ethic that structures his desires and actions. Vegeta's appeal grows because he changes. When he first appears, he fits every box of the perfect antagonist, cruel, overwhelmingly powerful, and devoid of scruples. He kills allies without hesitation to demonstrate his ruthlessness. But everything begins to shift after his initial battle with Goku. Goku, victorious, allows Vegeta to live instead of administering the final blow. That act of mercy becomes the seed of Vegeta's transformation. When Vegeta later encounters Goku's friends, he spares one who once left him alive. Forced into alliances by necessity, he grows closer to the people he once despised. Vegeta becomes an integral part of Earth's defenders. He falls in love with one of them and fathers a son who will repeatedly save the planet. Vegeta watches himself change. He resents his domestication, the softening that steals the purity of his rage and puts him permanently in Goku's shadow. He blames himself for becoming number 2. Even at extremes, Vegeta's arcs reaffirm his growth. In the series' final chapters, he allows himself to be possessed by dark sorcery to reclaim his old cruelty and his aspiration to be the strongest. On the surface, this may look like regression, but paradoxically, it proves his development. Vegeta needs external corruption to become truly cruel again. Even under the spell, he retains love for his son and care for the people of Earth, signs that his foundational transformation is deep and lasting. Vegeta's inner journey also tracks a philosophical dialectic worthy of Hegel. Hegel's dialectic describes how consciousness evolves through stages: thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Vegeta begins as thesis, the proud Saiyan prince, opposes human values as antithesis, then arrives at a synthesis in which those conflicting elements reconcile. He does not become their opposite, he integrates them. His old self and his new attachments coexist, producing a richer, more complete consciousness. What makes Vegeta so compelling is not simply power or redemption, but an honest evolution toward self-awareness. He climbs the steps of his own development until finally he accepts his place beside, and sometimes below, Goku. In that acceptance, Vegeta becomes whole. Power, duty, evolution, these are the philosophical pillars that define Vegeta. He was never destined to be the fans' favorite, yet his dark pride, his stubborn striving, and the very human capacity to grow and care make him perhaps the most human figure in Dragon Ball. Vegeta mirrors our contradictions, flaws and virtues, fury and tenderness, the hunger to be stronger, and the humility to change. That is the reason he endures. Power and evolution, duty and redemption. Vegeta's story is at once an epic battle and an intimate study of what it means to become oneself. It's a reminder that even the fiercest heart can learn to protect what it once sought to destroy. Thank you.